Hi, Southside Red Wings. This is Mrs. Vorpal, the school social worker here. I am joining you today with three of my friends to tell you a little bit about the RYTEprogram, Reaching Youth Through Education. This program is a kind of field trip experience that I take students to once a month. It involves meeting with and learning from 4 inmates in prison. Yeah, that's right, I take students to prison. The program is called RYTE, and it is held out at the Kettle Moraine Correctional Institution, which is just west of Plymouth here in Sheboygan County. The program was started about 4 years ago by an inmate whose name is Harlan. Harlan is one of the 4 gentlemen involved who was in prison for murder, and he is in prison for a very long time. He did not want his time in prison to be useless. So he developed a program where inmates get to basically tell their stories to young people in the hopes that hearing about their journey from young all the way to the crime that landed them in prison, young people will learn about the power of choices, the power of recognizing when you have choices, knowing you always have choices, and using that knowledge to make good choices now when you're young versus some of the difficult choices that these gentlemen had to make. And I take students out to that program once a month. It is not for criminals unless, one of you has a secret criminal past that I don't know about. It is for any student, really, that wants to learn more about their own journey and what choices they can make to create a better future for themselves. I am going to ask you guys some questions. Is that okay? Yeah. Seeing as you were the last students who came along. I bring students every month. I've probably brought 30 or 40 students to this program, but you're the ones who went last month. So that's why I grabbed you guys and said, are you willing to make a video? Tadia, question for you. Before you went to the RYTEprogram to the prison, what ideas or stereotypes did you have about prison inmates?
Stereotypes that I had were it's Scared Straight, where they make you do push-ups and get in your face, but it was not like that.
Nobody yelled and screamed at you.
No.
Yeah, no, that's not what this program is about. It is not Scared Straight. So now that you've heard Harlan, Colin, Matt, and Tyler's stories, and you've had a chance to meet them and honestly get to know them a little bit, what do you think of prison inmates now? Are they all violent, scary, mean guys?
I don't think that they're all scary or mean, but it shows that they had choices before they went to prison or committed the crime that they did.
Yeah.
And now they're trying to make a difference so other kids don't do the same mistakes that they did.
Do you think some people think that criminals just make this one big, huge, bad choice and then end up in prison? Is that kind of a stereotype?
Yeah, that's one of them. Some people think that when a person commits a crime, that they just automatically just did it. They don't think about the choices that person may have had beforehand.
And even before,
Mm-hmm.
Going all the way back to childhood,
yeah.
Right? Yeah, excellent. Thank you. Lizzie, what are 1 or 2 things that you learned or that you're going to take away from coming to prison with me?
When I went to prison, I thought about when they were talking about how many little choices that they had and how they discussed that they piled up and that they kept making the wrong choice and that they wish they would have took another path, and the way that they wish they would have thought through their choices. And I think that really impacts younger generations, because you really have to think about when you're young what choices you're going to make that lead you to your future. Another thing I really thought was important is that one of the inmates really discussed how their depression really affected them through making their choices and their mental battles. And it really impacted me because he was one of the only males that I've really heard say that I struggle with a mental disorder and this has impacted my life because in many different ways. And I think that's really important because everybody struggles with mental problems, but it's the way that you deal with them and it's the way that you speak up and reach for a hand and reach for help. You don't have to be a criminal to get help with your mental battles. And I think that's a really, really important lesson that I learned, and that those mental battles can blur your choices and the way that they resonate with you.
So she's talking about Colin, right? Colin is one of the inmates who ended up in prison because he sold drugs to his girlfriend and his girlfriend died. And he talks about his depression. He talks about his loneliness going all the way back to his childhood and how he had all the way through his school journey, his life journey, he never once made the choice to tell somebody, hey, I'm struggling.
And I think that has to go, and like when I thought about the prison stories, when I first went, I was like, I don't really know how close these stories are going to be to my real life. But when I went there, there's choices that like everyone could get told, like everyone could go through that choice, and it's the way that you react to them. And I think that your emotions that you go through really do determine how you react to it too.
That's exactly what they're hoping that you're going to get from it, is that in one of their stories, there's something there that is like, holy cow.
And it really resonates with you.
Yeah, that could be me. Like, literally, that could be me.
Or it could be one of your friends or another person around you that you should be speaking. And it's not even, like, if they can't do it, try to reach out and be that helping hand. Because a lot of people, they think, well, that's not me, so that's not my problem. But you don't want people that you surround yourself with to be the problem, too.
Exactly. Brooklyn. So Harlan, he's the first inmate that speaks. He has this quote that he makes us all repeat. You guys remember it, right? The best way to predict your future is to create it. The best way to predict your future is to create it. What does that mean to you now that you've been through this program?
I feel it means that every small choice you make as a young person plays some kind of effect in your adult life.
Yeah.
And any day coming after that choice.
Exactly. So even the little choices, right? It isn't just the big choices, right? It's the little ones that kind of pile up and can make a big difference as you go through life. Excellent. So I was telling you guys that I don't get a lot of students who are interested in coming to the RYTE program. I approach students, I ask them if they want to go, and I don't know if it's the whole thing about going to a prison or what, but I don't get a lot of students who say yes. Do you think I should keep bringing students to the RYTE program, and why? Why?
Yeah, I think you should keep bringing them because, like I said before, going to prison with Ms. Vorpal is not because you're a criminal. It's because you go and you learn about other people's stories that aren't your own, and like it shows that everyone has a story, whether it's good or bad.
Excellent. Thank you, Tavia. You are so right. Everyone's on a journey. And just because maybe yours isn't heading you to prison, there are choices you can make on that journey for a better outcome. Anybody else? Why should I keep coming, taking students to see the RYTE program?
I feel you should keep bringing students because it really opens your eyes to other people's stories and the way you can connect to them, and it makes you realize that when you're struggling with things, a lot of people are struggling with things and they let their emotions build up and they don't talk about them to other people, so you're able to see that other people are struggling.
I personally think that it's a good field trip. If you haven't been on a field trip, it's a good one that really opens your eyes up, and I believe that it can reach you and people in your community.
Excellent. Thank you, guys.
Yes.
Thank you for being willing to come on an advisory lesson and tell everybody about the RYTE program. I would love more students to come along. It's tricky because I can only bring 5 students per month. So we've got 2 more trips this school year yet, and of course one trip a month every year next year. So if you are interested in participating in the RYTE program. It's one day. It's a one-day school trip. Please email me, Carla, C-A-R-L-A, Vorpahl, V-O-R-P-A-H-L, and let me know you're interested. I would love to bring you along. Thank you guys
Yes.
so much
Yes,
for
bring
being a
your
part of
friends,
this.
sign up. Yay.